If we want to live and love with our whole heart, and if we want to engage with the world from a place of worthiness, we have to talk about the things that gets in the way, especially shame, fear, and vulnerability. This is by Brene Brown. And I want to talk about my journey to becoming a stay-at-home mom. So, it wasn't my original plan to be a stay-at-home mom. And I was getting married in 2014. When we decided to get married in 2014, we got married in 2015. But before, the conversation happened before we got married. And I remember it vividly because he had just picked me up from work and we were outside my office building. And I was wearing a green jacket. And I think if I find the picture, I'll put it. I was wearing a green jacket and he told me, oh, that do you want to, like a proposal sort of. He wanted me to work in his business because I had resigned. I'd actually resigned. I resigned. My cover story for resigning was because, I couldn't do the commute from Lagos mainland to Lagos Island every day because it would be about, depending on traffic, right, an hour plus, to get to and fro like every single day. And I was like, I couldn't do the commute. The real deal was that I was not happy anymore at the job because, again, people, I wasn't happy anymore at the job. So that was one of my reasons for wanting to leave. So I had a plan in my head, where I wanted to be when I was 25. Looking back, it's like, how dare you? Looking back, for one of the things I wanted to get married at 25. I wanted to buy a car at 25. I wanted to be like stepping up in my career and everything. So my real goal again was to move up the career ladder and just be this tech girl, right? Because I did computer science. Anywho's, and at this point, even though I was not happy at my job, and this was like, a great alternative. I was, it wasn't my choice per se, but it was also like a lifeline, if you get what I mean, because where I was is not also where I wanted to be in terms of like the space, the company, and because a lot of things had been happening and I just didn't want to be there anymore. So it felt like a lifeline. I honestly didn't know what I was getting myself into. We then get married and a lot of things happened between that. So we then get married and then we had our first child because it was about a year and a half, I think. No, sorry, almost 2 years. Right when I had my baby, because I had my baby in 2017, March of 2017. So give or take. And I didn't completely leave the company. So I became a remote worker at home, right? I was working, so it's like I was working part-time for them and not necessarily like in-house. So I was still doing my job. And now that remote work is good, I had to take a pay cut at the time because it's like, now remote work is good. But then 2015, 2016, it was looked as, maybe you're not working as much, blah, blah, blah. I was happy with the pay cut. I was happy with whatever it is they had for me because, again, I didn't think they wanted me to leave at the time. I didn't think it was a good time for them. Anywho's, I then became a stay-at-home mom. So when I gave birth to my son, there was now so much. And I was customer facing, my job role. So I couldn't, like, there was a lot of crying. There was a lot of, there's a lot of crying when I'm supposed to be talking to customers. Um, I was like a technical support person, so I was helping them solve their issues technically, like the technical issues with their software and all of that. But then I couldn't, like, you be on a call and then there's a child crying in the background, or they'll be like, oh, can I hear you? Do you hear me? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, it was just a lot that I had to deal with. I was still working with my husband, combining this. I had another YouTube channel at the time. So in the night, I would do my YouTube channel. And then in the morning, I'll do my work for this tech company. So it was just a lot. And this second time around, I decided that, okay, I'm going to resign. But I could not, this time around, I didn't tell my husband. I didn't tell him. And the reason I didn't tell him was because he would have found a logical reason why it wasn't a good idea. And I didn't feel like he understood what I was going through. I didn't feel like he understood where I was mentally. I didn't feel like he understood how the whole thing was affecting me. So for a whole week, where my office was, where we set up my office space, was like a small, it's supposed to be like a balcony, but we closed it off to the outer element, right? So it was just a small cubicle. So, like, imagine just pacing around at night every single day. And on that floor, I would sit, I would cry, it took a week to make that decision. I cried and cried and cried, what is it going to mean for me? How, okay, this is my income, and even however small it was my income, and it was just going to go. And I thought through a lot about that period, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to bite the bullet. So after a week of ruminating over it, crying, and not feeling like I would get support in the sense that, not feeling like I would get support in the sense of, just understanding, right? We've come a long way. At the time, remember, second year of our marriage, and I still didn't feel like, oh, this guy understood me. I didn't feel like he got a lot of the things that, he was just very, very logical. So I was like, it just doesn't work. And you cannot use logic. You can't use logic to make the decision around, when your emotions and the sense that you're feeling in this particular space. You can't use logic to make that decision, or you have to come with understanding. Well, I do not recommend, the way I did it, but I also want to encourage, like, men who are husbands or brothers or fathers or anything, to be able to understand and put your thinking sometimes aside and meet people where they are at, meet the person where they are at, and try to just put yourself in their shoes and what they're going through. Even if you don't understand it, like, just be there, just be there. And don't make them feel like you're making the worst decision ever. Anywho's, after a week, I wrote my resignation letter. Oh, I had already written it, by the way, sorry. I sent it in. And I cannot remember exactly where I was when I told my husband, but I know I eventually told him. And I'm not sure if there was crying. I'm not sure if there was I don't know. I was such a mess in that period. I was a huge mess, And that's when the shame came. I mean, after all of that is when the shame came. It was so bad. I felt so ashamed. I felt I couldn't talk about, and because, again, I couldn't talk to my husband, because it's like everything I said was met with, let's just do it this way. He was just too rigid, in that sense. So I'm like, so many things I'm trying to help you understand, and you're not understanding, you're not this, you're not that. I just kept quiet all of a sudden. You know, when you bottle a lot of things inside, it does affect you. So I had a lot. I started having esteem issues. I started having shame issues. Like, I feel very ashamed to even tell people, oh, what am I doing? You know, people ask you, so what are you doing right now? And I'll not be able to see anything, or I'll just be like, oh, I'm nervous laughter. No, I'm doing YouTube, or no, I'm a blogger, or and even then in 2014, I mean 2015, 2016, blogging again. Yeah, people knew one successful blogger, but it was not like blown up like it is now. So they still look at you weird. And then imagine, because my husband is about 12 years older than I am, so he had friends that were a lot older than me and more established and more accomplished and all of that. He is a successful photographer, so when we go out and we meet his circle, and you're like, oh, so what is your wife doing? It's like, you get like, I'm the, oh, it's just like she's doing thinking about snow. But again, his group of friends are such lovely people. They really didn't care about all of that. But it's just me, right? I was just feeling that shame. How I come to all this place, and everybody is like, managing director, CEO, blah blah blah, and you. So around the time, all of this, we had moved houses. And when we moved houses, we moved because one of his friends lived in that estate. Because we went to visit her, and I was like, oh, this place is so lovely, blah blah blah. So we moved into that place. So she was just like a couple of houses down our house, like 3 or 4 houses down our house. And one day, just like, oh, come, can we talk and all of that. You know, she's just seeing how I was, like, are you okay? She's my husband's friend. She's like, are you okay? And again, she's watching at me. Are you okay? And everything. Oh, I didn't even, when I started crying, she was telling me her story. She was not telling me her story. She's a doctor, and she was telling me her story. And at the time, she is, I don't know if it was or is, because she's transitioning out of her phase of being a stay-at-home mom, but she was at home with her young babies, 2 boys, and she was expecting at the time. Okay, so we talked, and she started telling me a story and everything, and I started telling her everything that I was dealing with, everything I was going through, about how I was feeling ashamed, blah 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 blah. And she changed the trajectory of my life, because she drew a line for me about where I was and the value that I was providing. She drew a line for me about the things that I was doing and what it meant for my family. She drew that line for me and made me see that I was not contributing. I was not. And that was the time she told me, oh, you know, you have to ensure that he gives you a salary. You have to ensure that you this, da, 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 this is, da, da, da. She gave me a lot of courage. She gave me a lot of encouragement, right? And that helped me tremendously. Again, I said it changed the trajectory of my life, because I started owning who I was. I started owning where I was. So much that I created a business card. I really didn't share the business cards because, again, I didn't really go out. But it was a statement for me to tell me that whatever you're doing had value. So it had my name, Stay at Home Mom, under, and like my blog, and like the website and everything. So that changed everything for me. About maybe 2 or so years later after that, I wrote the book that I wrote around, you know, being a stay-at-home mom, my journey as a stay-at-home mom, and basically just pushing it forward, right? This is the comfort I received, and here's a comfort for you as well, because again, in that period, I then now started like a small group, a stay-at-home mom small group. It gave me a sense of purpose. The group doesn't exist anymore because people have moved on, people have relocated, people have started other things. Some people have gone on to become, you know, executives in the workplace. I love it so much, you know. And that small group, what can I say? It was so beautiful because I saw myself again in everybody. Everybody had their different stories about why they were stay-at-home moms or how they became stay-at-home moms. But our shared realities, our challenges, our wins, it was just so beautiful to experience in that season. And I have struggled so much with, this not being your choice, and this not being your choice, and initially, and just taking things on because, this is where I find myself, and trying to be resilient and adapt. And also that tension with where I want to be, where I'd hoped to be, where I've struggled so much with that. But then I really, really asked myself, do I really like it? Do I really love it? And the honest to God truth is, yes, I do enjoy it. I enjoy being with my kids. I enjoy the things I get to do for them. I enjoy who I have become. I enjoy a lot of things around my journey as a stay-at-home mom. And yes, that tension still exists because, again, it's now from where I'm at to where I am going. I cannot definitely see a straight line. And I do want to retire from being a stay-at-home mom because my Dr. Big Sister has spoken to me again around, retirement-ish, and thinking about, but also trusting God to know that, God will sort it all out. I don't have to worry about it. But in this season, and for where I'm at and where I hope to be, I love it. And documenting my journey has brought me so many opportunities that all of that esteem issues are basically like, I won't say flown out of the window, but they've been taken care of like 70%, which is not a bad number. So yeah, I'm loving it. Next, I think we're going to talk about the money part. I think we should talk about the money part. Very important. Very important. Thank you so much for joining me on Tomi In the Middle, from where I'm at to where I am going. Follow along on my journey. I don't know where it's taking us to, but wherever it's taking us to, ready for the ride. I don't know where all of you all that are watching these videos are coming from, but keep watching and subscribe. Thank you.